Brought to you by Bangkok Bank ราชมงคล University of Technology ธัญบุรี
Good morning, ASEAN. Freshen up your world, your thought, and your idea with us every weekday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I'm Patsurang Desha Putharangsi.
And I'm also here with Junior Shamali Saklami, and today is Monday, the 26th of August 2013. Let's start up with the political news in Thailand, as the political reform forum kicked off yesterday with a sense of cautious optimism, despite the conspicuous refusals by the opposition Democrat Party to attend along with most other anti-government forces. After hours of meeting, Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra proposed the creation of 3 reform committees to look into political, economic and social reforms. However, no name has been announced yet, but the Prime Minister's Office Ministry will host future activities with another meeting to be held in a month's time. Letters of invitations will be sent to opposition parties again. Yingluck cited 7 key factors as major concerns at the end of the meeting. There are strengthening democracy, economic disparity, transparency and accountability, justice and basic rights, democratic participation, creation a climate of trust and forgiveness and public interest. 65 high-profile people from politics, academia, business and people's movement attended the 5-hour forum, but were given less than 10 minutes each to speak. Many lauded the forum yesterday, which was initiated by the Prime Minister, but also acknowledged difficulties as most anti-government forces have effectively boycotted the efforts. Yingluck said after the meeting that the government generally wants to see a roadmap for the future, and this forum is open to all sides. She said that she seeks to jointly come up with a vision for the future of Thai politics and society, and will take all previous studies and recommendations made by various groups and commissions into consideration and quickly implement those that have broad-based consensus. House Speaker Somsak Kiatsuranont said that Thais have no time to fight with one another any longer, but only talk about it and end up fighting again. Meanwhile, former Premier Banhan Silapa Acha advised that those who were not present should be invited again to join the next round, and suggested that both sides take a step back. Wutisan Thanchai, Deputy Secretary General of King Prachatipak's Institute, said that Thai society is plagued by distrust, but added that the forum marked a good beginning as there is now a venue to talk about problems. Meanwhile, Phumjai Thai Party leader Anuthin Chanvirakul, the only leader from an opposition party to join the forum, said that the party will oppose when the government does something wrong. As for the political reform forum, he thinks that what the government is doing is right, is not for the success of the government, but for all Thais. The only senior figure linked to the opposition Democrat Party was former leader and former House Speaker Pichai Ratakul, who joined in his personal capacity. Pichai said he wanted to see a roadmap for Thailand's future and expressed confidence that conflicts could be reduced if people could envision a common future.
Now let's take a look at the current situation happening in the foreigner street hub of Bangkok, which is Khao San Road, that might affect a $1 million tourism industry, because now there is a widespread use of the laughing gas balloons, which are not so funny. The widespread use of illegal balloons containing laughing gas among tourists at entertainment venues has prompted police in Bangkok's Chana Songkram police station to crack down on vendors selling these balloons on Khao San Road. So sale of balloons filled with nitrous oxide gas, also known as laughing gas, is illegal. So, however, vendors on Khao San Road, Bangkok's famous tourist street, are still selling these balloons to tourists. Some of them have set up stands along the street, luring tourists to pay between 100 to 150 baht for each piece. The cost of a balloon containing laughing gas is only actually 20 baht. So the police Lieutenant Colonel Putipan Kritsadakon Naitya said that he found out that most of the vendors had hidden the gas containers under their push carts. Tourists must ask the vendor to make the laughing gas balloon for them. So the vendors spent about 15 minutes to inflate each balloon. So he said vendors who illegally sell these balloons would face 1 year jail and a fine of 10,000 baht as punishment. Tourists have been warned to not buy these balloons as the colorless and non-inflammable nitrous oxide gas can cause severe symptoms of inhalers, and some might even become unconscious if there is an overdose. Nitrous oxide is used in surgery and dentistry for its anesthetic and analgesic effects. So Police Lieutenant Colonel Another One Natakon Kamsab, a deputy commander of Chinasongkhram Police Station, said he would ask the Food and Drug Administration to give more details about the legal procedures against the wrongdoers, as nitrous oxide is recognized as a forbidden substance, not a drug.
And now let's have a look at the Philippines, as anger in social media at the misuse of the Philippine state funds has snowballed into calls for a rally expected to attract thousands of people, according to an organizer. Calls for 1 million people march schedules from Monday began circulated on Facebook and Twitter about 2 weeks ago after local press report of a scam involving the Priority Development Assistance Funds. The fund is money allocated for lawmakers to be used in development projects. Critics see it as funding pork barrel projects, which have traditionally been a source of corruption. At the center of the controversy is a woman who allegedly connived with legislators to siphon off some 10 billion pesos from the fund. They demand transparency and accountability, according to an organizers in their online invitation on Facebook. One of the organizers, Peachy Lonza Bretana, said that the idea for the match originally circulated among her cycle of friends but quickly caught on. As of Sunday afternoon, nearly 18,000 people had said that they would join marches culminating in what the organizers said would be a peaceful picnic get-together in Luneta Park in central Manila. Activists in other cities have said they would hold simultaneously marches in support of the Manila protests. Various religions, professional, business, and leftist organizations have also signified interest in joining the protests.
Myanmar authorities detained a dozen of rioters on Sunday, a day after another sectarian violent clashes between Buddhists and Muslims erupted again in the Myanmar's northern region of Sagaing. Witnesses said between 500 and 1,000 Buddhists, some carrying sticks and swords, attacked Muslim houses in Tan Kon village on Saturday, setting some buildings on fire. They said police and soldiers arrived in the evening and fired into the air to disperse the crowds. The violence in the rugged region, about 665 kilometers from the commercial capital Yangon, shows how far anti-Muslim anger has spread in the Buddhist-dominated country following spasms of unrest in northeastern Lashio in May, central Meghtila in March, and western Rakhine State last year. Police Surgeon Win Yi said that they have arrested already altogether 12 people from the mob, and they were transferred to a district station. Some Muslims fled to a neighboring villager or sheltered in a Muslim school. Residents in the area. Houses were already burning by the time police and soldiers arrived. Anyway, another Muslim resident, Azit Ping, said the cause of the unrest appears to have been an argument between a young Muslim man and a Buddhist woman. Myanmar's Buddhist-dominated media reported rumors that she had been raped. Anyhow, Muslim villagers denied this. Clashes between Buddhists and Muslims have threatened to undermine political and economic reforms the central government initiated 2 years ago after decades of military misrule. More than 200 people have been killed since June last year and 140,000 displaced. The vast majority of victims have been Muslims. Another UN authority, the Thomas Kojia Kontana, a UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights, said a 200-strong mob attacked his car during an August 22nd visit to the central Myanmar town of Meghtila, where a wave of anti-Muslim riots in March killed at least 43 people, destroyed hundreds of homes, and displaced thousands. Presidential spokesman Ye Tut denied Quintana had been attacked and said the United Nations mistook the crowd's intentions.
And in Myanmar Focus Daily today, we're going to have a look at keys for local business in the next decades. Let's have a look.
Myanmar government has been rolling out the process of reform in order to attract foreign investment and to bring up the country to the next level. Otherwise, it may lose out in the regional integration in 2015. Myanmar Focus Daily, this episode, we talk to Myanmar top tycoon Zaw Zaw, who is the chairman of Max Myanmar, a leading construction company in Myanmar, on the future of Myanmar in the regional and global arena. On the panel of Asia driving the world forward, this Myanmar business leader highlighted the importance of sustainable economic development. He also noted that Myanmar still has issues that need to be solved, such as ethnic issues and people's high expectation.
Of course, the people want to be speed more than that. Also, what I'm worried is I want to be sustained. Also they succeed. This reform process. So that's why there is a government is to have to do it all the regulation have to change. Okay. Also, we have all the ethnic issue, all few race and religious issue. All the issue also have to solve it. Also, the 2015 also the election. So I think the government is doing in one time. Many areas have to touch. I think everybody have to participate, and all the leaders have to be compromise each other and trying to succeed the country. That will be the best way.
Moreover, Max Myanmar chairman suggested that the government should focus more on the economic side, with the emphasis on creating more jobs and more income for the poor, so that the local can actually benefit from the change. In the meantime, the government should improve the standard of the education system of the country, from basic education to the higher level and university level education as well. Good education can ensure the qualified and better workforce, as lack of human resources is one of the major concerns investors are having. With the Asean community set to take place in 2015, it is one of the significant factors that pressure Myanmar to move forward with its development to be able to take part and compete in the more open market.
I think the more, what I say that is we also have like a Thailand or Vietnam, we are based in the agriculture. So it's we have to do that is a highly labor intensive mechanized farming. We have to do that, and we have to say in the food security in the global, and how many we can share, and we can sell the better product in the world market. And that, on the other hand, also the foreign investor coming into Myanmar, and also the invest and create job, and get the global, the economic share. And in the other hand, is the most important is the financial sector. What I want to say there is there is all the development country and developing country have paying the highest interest rate, and then also doing the business. So this we need to sit inside the global, the community, and the financial sector, and also go to the capital market. We have to understand what is the world is doing with the financial sector, like equity fund, fund management, hedge fund, and all those. All the capital have to put in Myanmar and do more business. So that there is 1 decade. Myanmar people have a more good income, and also the people will get more job, and also the 1 decade between that you can upgrade your education and healthcare system for the Myanmar people.
In preparation for the foreseeable future for local companies, Zaw Zaw pointed 3 key points that all companies should adopt, which are transparency, credibility, and accountability. He urged local business people to be in touch with international communities and get more exposure. Capacity institution for local business people also needs to be built up. Companies have to be transparent by sharing their annual report and financial report in order to gain the trust from the outside world. Tang Mi Sang for Myanmar Focus Daily.
Indonesia's power cable industry heads for a shakeout after the break.
Brought to you by Bangkok Bank, Ratchamongkol University of Technology, Thanyaburi.
Welcome back. And the VUNG economic zone in Central Ha province in Vietnam has attracted 79 projects with registered capital totaling over $16 billion up to now. According to Hoan Tuan, head of the zone, these 79 projects include 44 domestic and 35 foreign invested ones. The economic zone, which is one of the country's 5 key coastal economic zones, was founded in 2006, covering an area of 22.78 ha in Kai'an district. In the first 7 months of 2013, investment licenses were granted for 14 projects in the zone with total capital of more than $500 million. One of the largest projects in the zone aims to build a $10 billion steel factory and seaport invested by Formosa Heavy Industries corporations from Taiwan, China. The firm based in the zone have so far created over 15,000 jobs with an average salary of 4.5 to 5.5 million Vietnamese dong per month.
Indonesia may lose 3/4 of its power cable makers in 2 to 3 years as margins at the thin ones drive weaker players to accept buyouts, leaving only Indonesia's bigger players in the market. Cable industry revenues in Southeast Asia's biggest economy rose to around $2.5 billion last year, up 20% from a year earlier, but still tiny compared with larger emerging markets such as China or India. Indonesia has earmarked $174 billion for the infrastructure development over the next 12 years, and about 40% of that will go to building power and energy projects in the power-starved archipelago, where nearly 1/4 of the population lacks basic electricity. But there are more than 20 major Indonesian cable makers battling for a slice of the market, pushing down margins. The sliding rupiah currency, which hit a 4-year low last week, adds to the strain because these companies must buy copper and aluminum priced in US dollars. So towards more inclusive and equitable growth for the SME industry, let's take a look in Laos.
Lao PDR has seen a strong economic growth during the past decade, driven by the exploitation of natural resources and closer regional integration. The country is surrounded by some of the fastest growing economies in the world. As a Director General of the Department of Economic Affairs from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Thongpan Sawanphet always attaches great importance to connectivity in the GMS.
The Lao government always attaches great importance to the connectivity in the GMS as well as the Asean. Therefore, during the past years, the government has put efforts on developing roads, air, railway, as well as water transport.
Laos has also benefited significantly from external demand for tradable and increased foreign direct investment, especially since becoming a WTO membership. That has absolutely secured the flow of certain amount of FDIs into the country. But how about the other small sectors of business activity in the country? What exactly is the SME sector doing now amid the hustling global economic trend?
จริงๆแล้ว SME อยู่ลาวนี่support นโยบายจะส่งเสริมเพื่อไปขยายธุรกิจอยู่ต่างประเทศนี้ยังมีโอกาสจำกัดอยู่โอกาสจำกัดด้านหนึ่งเรื่องความสำนาญและก็ความรู้เกี่ยวกับการค้ากับต่างประเทศนี้ยังมีข้อจำกัดด้านสองและเรื่องการสิ่งอำนวยความสะดวกที่จะอำนวยให้การลงทุน SME ลาวอยู่ต่างประเทศแต่ก็ยังค่อนข้างจำกัดเป็นต้นเป็นสถาบันการเงินการค้ำประกันการชำระสาสางต่างๆ
According to Mr. Somdi Inmaisai, Director General, Department of SME Promotion and Development, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Lao PDR, the central government has a firm policy regarding the SME development within Laos, as well as those SMEs with an international investment enthusiasm.
สิ่งแรกๆนี้พวกเขายังเน้นใส่เรื่องสร้างเงื่อนไขสภาพแวดล้อมธุรกิจที่อำนวยเนาะเป็นต้นด้านระเบียบการก่อตั้งการดำเนินการดำเนินการส่งออกอย่างต่างๆเนาะจุดที่2นี้พวกเขายังกำลังปรับปรุงเรื่องการสนับสนุนเรื่อง เรื่องทุนเนาะเรื่องทุน SME ในหลายรูปแบบนอกจากในระบบธนาคารแล้วเขาจะออกลักษณะการบริการด้านการเงินใหม่ๆออกมาตื่นจุดสำคัญอันหนึ่งในพวกเขาเล็งใส่ก่อสร้างนักธุรกิจหนุ่มที่มีการศึกษาดีและสามารถปรับตัวเข้าได้เวลามีการเชื่อมโยงเป็นต้นนักธุรกิจหนุ่มนี่ครับผู้ได้รับการศึกษาดีแล้วสามารถสื่อสารเป็นภาษาอาเซียนได้เป็นต้นเป็นอังกฤษมีความชำนาญในการใช้เครื่องมือในการสื่อสารเพื่อว่ารับใช้ธุรกิจ
Mr. Somdi has concluded that amid the global economic uncertainty, the Lao government still emphasizes the development of small business unit and urges the private sectors to gather for a networking with SME companies to help them enhance productivity, access the market, and maximize their competitiveness. All in all, it's another exciting era for ASEAN to witness how Laos will push for the development of SMEs and execute them in the face of competitive economic community. Patsurang Desha Putarangsi reports.
That's it for today's edition of Good Morning ASEAN. We'll see you again, same time, same place, same channel.
Thank you for watching. I'm Nirasha Saklamia.
And I'm Patsurang Desha Putarangsi. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ